A nightmare with an end seemingly nowhere in sight. An entire region of North Carolina unrecognizable. People desperate for food and water lined up outside of a grocery store in Asheville tonight. Cities and towns throughout the mountains are without water, power, or cell service.
We've never seen this type of flooding and destruction.
Help is here from around the country. 18 states and even Canada have teams on the ground. The Triad has sent dozens out west, hoping to make a dent in the mountain of devastation.
Hang in there. The help is on the way. It's a massive effort.
The widespread disaster and the flickering lights of hope. Tonight on WFMY News 2 at 11. The scope of this unprecedented disaster becomes clearer with each passing hour. Good evening, I'm Chad Silber. The governor's office confirmed at least 34 deaths, but Governor Cooper hesitated to put a number on those we've lost. He expects that number to rise in the days ahead. First responders have rescued hundreds of people over the last few days. The efforts to save them have not slowed. Locally, Wilkes County schools will not be in session tomorrow. Surrey is on a 2-hour delay. Some of the worst damage is in Asheville. Historic flooding has washed away buildings and homes. That's where WFMY News 2's Tanya Rivera is tonight. She got a first-hand look at the destruction and saw how a group from Greensboro is helping out.
The Greensboro crews that we talked to are literally camping out where? At the Asheville Civic Center. They're on the second floor there. They literally rolled out sleeping bags or put up tents on the floor. Why? Because it's one of the only places in town that has room and has power. There are so many different crews from so many different places coming here to help. And why? Because it is so catastrophic, right? No electricity and no water. Water is the big, huge problem. So much water came that the landslides happened and unearthed some of those water plant pipes, which is why there is no water in the entire county of Buncombe County. And that is why Greensboro City crews are here to help fix it.
So yeah, this is just some of the work we was doing. We're actually in a creek bed.
Greensboro's operation manager for water resources says the work is messy and complicated, but they're committed to getting the water back on for Asheville and Black Mountain.
This is the picture of the pipe that actually washed out.
Greensboro crews are camping out here at the Asheville Civic Center. Fortunately, the FEMA kitchen is there too. Dane Cruz and his volunteers are cooking up 1,000 hot meals a day for first responders and crews.
This is my community. I need this place to continue being Asheville, you know, and continue to keep people coming in here and enjoying the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. And
they're serving meals 4:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. While he doesn't see himself as a hero, his brother does, and he told us about him on Facebook. This is how we found you.
oh, whoa.
That's your brother.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was wonderful that we had people that had food waiting on you, and it's really nice.
People who would have never met now share a bond, served up by a big disaster first, and now by determination. These are really long days, but you're not hearing anybody complain, not the crews and not the chefs. Everybody is serving alongside one another to help one another.
Tanya, thank you. President Biden will see the destruction for himself on Wednesday. Right now, 18 federal relief and rescue teams are on the ground helping our state recover it. We all know Asheville is a place of culture and beautiful scenery. One of the areas hardest hit by the storm is the River Arts District. A woman who lives in Asheville told us the district is no more.
All of the artists are just saying years of hard work and art is just gone. Everything that we have done for years is not an option at this point.
She says her heart breaks for the small businesses that might never recover. The widespread debris is overwhelming. This is Lake Lure. Splintered docks and buildings cover so much of the surface of the water it looks more like a field of mulch. A touching image emerged from Rutherford County today. People laid roses at a bridge washed away in the torrential floodwater. In Black Mountain, east of Asheville, powerful floodwaters flipped this car and lodged it in a culvert. Rescue efforts include pets A team from the coast pulled this dog from a giant pile of debris. South of Asheville in Hendersonville, leaders asked people to conserve water. Like most places out west, the city is also under a curfew tonight. Nearly all traffic lights in the area were not working this afternoon. One woman says 2 trees collapsed onto her home. Still, she knows how powerful positivity will need to be as the area recovers.
Everybody just needs to be nice and kind to everyone, especially during this time. Everyone needs to just throw somebody a smile. I threw someone a smile at the dairy behind me, and they came up and gave me a hug while I was ordering my food. Said that's all I needed.
Nearby businesses that have the means have stepped up to provide food and water. A chilling image came out of Black Mountain today. Like much of the mountains, the small town in Buncombe County hasn't had reliable cell service or internet. People wrote their names on this giant sheet to simply say they're safe. The picture is circulated online with the hope it reaches their loved ones who might be waiting for good news. Leaders in Lake Lure, southeast of Asheville, have one constant and consistent message. If you live there, get out. If you don't, stay away. Flooding created a nightmare over the weekend for Rutherford County. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake saw how people coped.
We've talked a lot about the damage across western North Carolina with these floodwaters, and we have a very large sinkhole right here on Rock Springs Church Road. This is near Lake Lure, where over here you see the waters got so high that we have crops that have almost been pushed all the way down. On the other side of this road, near River Creek Campground is going, we have US 64 that is completely washed out. There are power lines that have fallen into the roadways. Trees are in the roadways up and down US 64. It's just a dangerous area to drive in right now. Now US 64 goes to Lake Lure, and officials are standing at the bridge to make sure that people don't get in unless you have proof of residence to get inside, just because it's so devastating over there. We did speak with officials who said that up until Lake Lure Beach, it's fine, but after that, anything beyond that is completely destroyed. We were in talks with neighbors who have gone out to get supplies to bring them back from Charlotte. They're just trying to do everything that they can to make sure that their community is taken care of.
100% the community, like 100%. Like we wouldn't have landed here if it wasn't for these people, and we wouldn't still want to be here and still want to fight for this community if it wasn't for these people around that are helping us do this. That's it.
A curfew is still in place here in Rutherford County from 7:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. and a boil water advisory is still in effect as well. In Rutherford County, Amber Lake, WFMY News 2.
In Watauga County, flooding washed out roads, cutting off parts of Blowing Rock from the rest of the state. Crumbling streets are common in this area now. Flooding created problems all over the place.
There was a mudslide, fell into the drain, and then that stopped everything up, so the water just poured. It was like a waterfall in the backyard. It was unbelievable. It was like a river. You couldn't have stood in it. It'd knock you down.
He says he couldn't reach family after the storm, putting him and his wife farther on edge. Burke County faces a similar outlook tonight. Several days without power are in store. For some perspective, look at this satellite image and focus on western North Carolina. It shows the power grid on a normal day. Then look at the same image after the storm. Much of the light out west vanished, showing where the storm caused widespread outages. Right now, about half of Burke County west of Hickory is in the dark. The 911 center says relief won't come fast.
It's just going to take a process, and we do expect another 3 to 4 or 5 days of most people being without power.
Duke Energy says the bulk of customers should have power back by Friday. Places with more significant damage could take longer. Our western counties have also seen support rushed out there from the Triad. WFMY News 2's Itanisa McMiller learned how leaders in Guilford and Forsyth counties have chipped in.
Box after box loaded up onto a trailer to help people who lost everything in Hurricane Helene.
Diapers, water, and baby wipes.
That's what Richard Cottrell dropped off at the Forsyth County Public Safety Building. The sheriff's office is collecting supplies to take west. They also have boots on the ground doing what they can.
Whatever need they have us to do, whether it be security, search and rescue, or just giving those officers a break that's been holding that line without the resources. It could happen to any of us, and we got to chip in. We got to be there for each other.
It's a massive effort because I've seen other people. I just left Costco and everybody had their buggies just full of stuff to go to the mountain.
In Guilford County, a handful of fire departments have been deployed. McLeansville and Whitsett Fire teamed up and sent an engine and 4 firefighters.
The devastation not only affects the people, but also affects the first responders. So those people that were normally on Reams Fire Department are currently, they're figuring out how they're going to shore up their home, take care of their family.
They'll send a relief crew tomorrow to replace the team that's been there since Saturday, bringing a trailer full of hygiene and food items.
Everybody in that area, they've just lost pretty much everything they have. So just keep them in your prayers, and anything that you can bring to us, a supply to take up there, we're going to go up there and do the best we can.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is hauling heavy machinery to Buncombe County to help clear access to schools.
Some of the maintenance staff are not available, they can't get there, and they're just trying to get the schools opened up so that they can feed kids. Like that's one of the most urgent needs for them right now, is to get those buildings opened up so they can start feeding these kids.
We're going to take our skid steer and our Mini X to help remove trees from the driveways to get access to the school buildings.
They're prepared to be out there for days with little to no communication with loved ones to help those who have lost everything.
All of the agencies I spoke with today have donation collection sites running tomorrow. You can find out their locations in this story on our website.
All right, Denise, thank you. A fixture in our area is now a hub for hope. The North Wilkesboro Speedway will open tomorrow as a collection site for hurricane relief supplies. A tour race scheduled for this Saturday is also postponed. We asked you for a lot today, and boy, did you deliver. We partnered with the Red Cross to run a phone bank for 2.5 hours. You helped us raise more than $37,000 to support our neighbors out west. Eric Chilton spent some time with volunteers and shared his gratitude to them and to you.
And you know what, words aren't enough, right? What you've done today by helping out all of our friends and loved ones in Western North Carolina. We've seen the imagery. We know how bad it is, or do we really, right? You look at something on TV, it really doesn't have the same effect as when you're there seeing this. Our crews are relaying to us how bad it is. It's going to take a while to rebuild, but every dollar that you donated for our phone drive goes directly to this cause, nowhere else. And the Red Cross volunteers were here for the duration of this phone bank. You have made this a massive success. Thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts at WFMY News 2, and just as North Carolinians, thank you for helping each other, taking care of each other. That's what we've always done. That's what the Triad will continue to do.
And you can continue to support our mission. Scan the QR code on your screen or go to our website and you will find a link to donate to the Red Cross. All right, I want to bring in Tim Buckley now. Tim, lots of people have asked how Helene was so strong while so far inland. Even with the forecast, it seems the storm's strength shocked people.
Chad, it is hard to understand, and certainly not what we think about when we think of hurricanes. We think of them as coastal storms, which they are, but it's not the first time one has hit the mountains very hard, and it probably won't be the last time, but this is the worst that we've seen basically this generation. Let me explain why. There are a couple factors at play. Number one, before the storm even got there, we had what we would call a pre-event rainfall. There was this stalled out cold front, stationary front on the west side, sucking up all this tropical moisture. And so in the days leading up to it, the southern mountains got about 8 to 12 inches of rain before the hurricane even got there. And then once it did, it took the exact perfect track to hit them in the hardest way possible. This low pressure over to the west, it kind of curved the storm like that. And when you're on that side, you get that wind to ride all the way up those extremely tall mountains. You know how big they are, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 feet in some places. And when you take really humid tropical air, you force it to rise up on those mountain peaks. Not only are you making it rain, you're making it rain harder than it would otherwise. This is the way it works in weather. When you bring that humid air up and you rise it and you force it to go up, you're making more condensation, more clouds, more rain, and more downpours. And truly, that is all what made this such a disaster, with about 30 inches of rain, 70, 80 mile per hour gusts on the peaks. there was no chance that this wouldn't be an epic disaster. It had all the ingredients to make for big problems in western North Carolina that are going to last a long time.
After days cut off from the world, there is a glimmer of hope in the mountains tonight. An update on widespread road closures. Plus, the tribute to a Triad teenager who died at football practice. How his school honored him tonight. It's next.